morning. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Penguin Encounter. My name's Tia from the Marine Education team here at SeaWorld, and today we are joined by our lovely penguins and our penguin specialist. Now, Mel is going to introduce us to some of our beautiful penguins, but the only issue is she actually can't hear me through this window. Now, that glass is about 10 centimeters thick, so to let her know that we're ready to go, I'll just get you to give her a big wave. Hi everyone, can you hear me okay? Awesome, my name is Mel and I'm one of the penguin specialists here today. We have got 26 Gentoo penguins, which are the smaller ones with orange feet, and we also have 16 king penguins, which are the bigger ones here with their nice orange chest. Our oldest one is Jezebel, who's just right here, who was born in 1996. And then also we have our oldest Gentoo penguin, who's 26. She's usually nesting in the back there. And then we have two young ones who are 9 months old, which is Quinn and Finn, and they love to swim. So I've got the feeling they'll be in the water swimming at the moment. So in the entire world, there's about 18 different species of penguins, with 17 of those only occurring in the southern hemisphere. Now, there's only one species of penguins that will occur near the northern hemisphere or more on the equator, and they are the Galapagos penguins. Now, you'll never see any penguins up in the Arctic. They only ever are in the Antarctic. And we do have our Gentoo penguins and our king penguins interacting with one another, just because that is naturally occurring in the wild. Now, the king penguins, which are the beautiful penguins with the yellow markings around their faces, they are actually the second largest penguin in the entire world. Our Gentoos, which are the little black and white ones down the back, they are the third largest. Now, the king penguins average at about 50 centimeters tall and about 12 kilos, whereas the Gentoo penguins, they average at about 40 centimeters, weighing at about average of 5 kilos. Now, the world's largest penguins are actually the emperor penguins, and they are found right in the middle of the Antarctic in really rural areas. They average at about 110 centimeters tall, and not too much is known about their weight on average, just because they are very rural, very hard to get to research. Now, our king penguins and our Gentoo penguins here are actually found in the subantarctic islands and on the Antarctic coastlines. So they do have a nice big pool there because they are quite used to the water. Now, the world's smallest penguin are known as the little penguins or fairy penguins. We actually do have them here at SeaWorld, so if you are going north into the park today, make sure you do visit Penguin Point because they are incredibly cute. Now, as you would have heard Mel mention, we do have over 40 penguins inside the enclosure, and she does know all of their names, so I'm going to ask her how she's actually able to tell them apart. Alright, how can I tell them apart? Well, that's a good question. It's very important for us actually to know who's who, because we're going to feed shortly. And so we have a little clipboard where we write down exactly how many fish and which fish they all get. Now they are leaving me. They all look the same basically. You can't tell male or female apart. We have to do a DNA test to find out who is female and who is male. So we have a little bit of help. So our girls have the wingman on the left, the boys on the right, and also they have two different colors. So we know exactly who's who without really looking at them specifically, but they all have different personalities. So with some of them we definitely know who's who. But yeah, this is how we know who they are. They've got a little wingband. This is Rochelle, everyone. Rochelle is going to feed our king penguins today. They kind of know where we're feeding. So this is the king feeding area, and then at the back is our Gentoo feeding area. And now you can have a look how we're going to feed. So they're a bit more difficult, the kings. They're all very fussy as well. So we always feed them a healthy fish first. And then they get a little fatty fish, so it's like feeding them a broccoli first, which they're not so keen about, and then they get a nice little fatty fish afterwards. Now, you will notice all of our penguin specialists inside the enclosure at the moment are really rubbed up in all of their snow gear. So what we really try to do here at SeaWorld is make sure we are mimicking their natural environment as much as we possibly can. So inside the enclosure at the moment, it's about -3 degrees. So nice and cold, but not too cold. These penguins can withstand up to about -20 degrees. However, the emperor penguins can actually withstand to about -50. So there's a little bit of comparison. So not too cold in there, but just nice and cool for them. So it's pretty much like a summer/spring weather for them all the time, which is nice and warm for them as well. Now, another thing that we like to do to kind of mimic their natural environment, like I mentioned before, is having that big pool for them to swim around in. What's really interesting is if you do ever see the Gentoo penguins going for a swim, they're actually the fastest penguin under the water. They can travel about 30 kilometers per hour, which is actually just a little bit quicker than a dolphin. It's pretty awesome to see. Now you also see we do have some nice little rocky edges towards the back there. That's just because when they are nesting, they do like to nest in these